Sometimes the scariest part of a relationship ending is that it doesn't always end with a slammed door. Sometimes it ends in silence. Not the peaceful kind, not the comfortable kind, the kind where two people sit in the same room and somehow feel miles apart. The kind where you want to say something, but you don't even know where to begin. If you've been wondering, is my relationship in trouble? I want you to know something first. You are not dramatic for noticing the shift. You are not needy for feeling lonely next to someone you love. And you are not weak for hoping things can still get better. Because relationship trouble rarely starts with one huge moment. It usually starts with small changes, small disconnections, small hurts that go unspoken for too long. And if you can learn to see the signs early, you give love a chance to heal before resentment moves in. So in this video, we're going to talk about the quiet signs your relationship may be struggling, the emotional clues people often ignore, and what you can do if you're seeing them in your own life. Not to panic, not to blame, but to understand. Because sometimes seeing the truth clearly is the first step toward repair. Let me tell you about a couple I'll call Maya and Daniel. From the outside, they looked fine. No huge fights, no cheating, no dramatic breakup posts, no obvious disaster. They still shared a home, still paid bills, still asked each other things like, did you lock the door? What time is your meeting? Can you pick up milk? But something had changed. One night they were sitting on the couch together. The TV was on, their phones were in their hands, and the room felt heavy. Not angry, not loud, just empty. Maya looked over and realized something painful. They hadn't really connected in days. Not deeply, not warmly, not like partners. They had become efficient roommates. At first, she told herself it was just stress. They were both tired. Life was busy. This happens. And yes, sometimes it does. But then she started noticing more. When something funny happened at work, she texted her friend first, not Daniel. When Daniel talked about the future, he stopped saying we and started saying I. Not on purpose, not cruelly, just naturally. I might take that trip. I'm thinking about moving departments. I don't know what I want anymore. In that tiny shift in language, it hurt more than either of them wanted to admit. Because losing we in conversation often means losing emotional partnership in real life. Then there was the way conflict changed. They used to talk things through. Not perfectly, but honestly. Now every difficult conversation went one of two ways. Either it turned into irritation over something small, or it died before it even began. Forget it. It's not a big deal. I'm too tired for this. But it was a big deal, because when couples stop repairing after tension, distance grows in the silence. And the silence is dangerous because it can look calm, but calm is not always connection. Sometimes calm is giving up. Sometimes calm is emotional withdrawal. Sometimes calm is two people deciding without saying it out loud that it feels safer not to try. Maya missed him while sitting right next to him. And Daniel, though he didn't say it well, felt it too. He felt like whatever he did was wrong. He felt shut out. He felt like home had become a place where he had to be careful instead of open. Neither of them hated each other. That's what made it so heartbreaking. They were not enemies. They were just disconnected, tired, unheard, afraid. And that is what relationship trouble often looks like. Not always cruelty, not always betrayal. Sometimes it looks like two good people slowly losing their way back to each other. So, what are the signs your relationship may be in trouble? Let's talk about them simply. The first is the silence in the room. Again, I'm not talking about peaceful silence. Healthy couples can sit quietly together and still feel close. I'm talking about the silence that feels tense, awkward, lonely, the kind where nobody's fighting, but nobody's reaching. If the emotional energy between you feels cold, heavy, or absent for long periods, don't ignore that. Another sign is losing the we. Listen carefully to how you speak. Listen to how your partner speaks. Do you still talk like a team? Do you still think in shared terms? Do you still imagine life together emotionally, not just practically? When we quietly becomes me, it can signal that the relationship is no longer feeling like a shared home. Another sign is that you stop bringing each other your inner world. When something happens, good or bad, who do you want to tell first? If your partner is no longer your safe place, your comfort place, your excitement place, that matters. Emotional intimacy is built in those tiny moments. Look what happened. Can I tell you something? I need you. This reminded me of you. When those moments disappear, connection weakens. Another sign is that conflict gets replaced by avoidance. A lot of people think fighting means the relationship is doomed. Not necessarily. Sometimes the deeper danger is when nobody fights because nobody believes it will help. Avoidance can feel mature on the surface, but underneath it may be hopelessness. If one or both of you keep swallowing pain, shutting down, or saying it's fine when it's not fine, your relationship may not be peaceful. It may be emotionally starving. Another sign is that small tenderness disappears. The goodbye kiss, the check-in text, the hand on the back, the inside jokes, the little smile from across the room. Love often survives in small gestures. So when those gestures fade and nobody notices, or worse, nobody misses them, that's worth paying attention to. Another sign is that you feel more guarded than relaxed. Ask yourself this: when I'm with my partner, do I feel safe to be honest? Or do I feel like I have to measure every word? Do I feel accepted or managed, judged, misunderstood? If home starts to feel emotionally unsafe, closeness becomes hard. And another sign is that resentment is growing quietly. This one is sneaky. It doesn't always sound like rage. Sometimes it sounds like sarcasm, a sharp tone, a long sigh, a lack of patience, a feeling of why should I bother? Resentment builds when hurt is repeated and unrepaired. And if it goes unspoken long enough, it can turn ordinary moments into emotional landmines. Now, here's the important part. Seeing these signs does not automatically mean the relationship is over. It means something needs care. Trouble is not the same as failure. Distance is not the same as destiny. Many relationships go through seasons like this. The real question is not, is there trouble? The real question is, are we willing to face it together? Because relationships usually heal through guessing. They heal through honesty, through humility, through brave conversations, through saying, this doesn't feel good lately. I miss you. I don't want to keep pretending we're okay. I want us back. That kind of truth can be scary, but it can also be the moment everything begins to change. So if you recognize your relationship in this video, here's what I want you to do next. First, pause the blame. Not because your pain isn't real, not because there aren't real issues, but because blame usually makes people defend, and defense blocks repair. Try starting with truth instead. Not, you never care, you always shut me out, you ruined this, but I've been feeling far from you. I miss how we used to talk. I don't want us to keep drifting. Can we be honest about what's happening? Specific truth is easier to hear than vague criticism. Second, name the sign you're seeing. Be specific. The silence between us feels heavy lately. We don't feel like a team right now. I noticed we stopped sharing things with each other. It feels like we avoid the real conversations. Specific truth is easier to hear than vague criticism. Third, ask for one small repair. Not a perfect fix, not a giant promise, just one small repair. Maybe it's 20 minutes of real conversation tonight. Maybe it's one phone-free dinner this week. Maybe it's holding hands again on the walk. Maybe it's agreeing not to say I'm fine when you're not fine. Maybe it's reaching out for counseling before the distance grows deeper. Healing often starts small, very small, but small doesn't mean weak. Small steps are how trust comes back, how safety comes back, how we comes back. And finally, be honest about this. Repair takes two people willing to participate. You can open the door, you can speak gently, you can be brave, you can invite healing, but you cannot force intimacy by yourself. So if your relationship is in trouble, don't just ask, how do I keep this from ending? Also ask, what does health require now? What does honesty require now? What kind of love are we building from this point on? Because sometimes the relationship that survives trouble becomes more honest, more tender, and more real than the one that came before it. So don't lose hope. This may not be the end. This may be the moment where growth begins.